right, well, welcome everyone to our International Agent and Student event. I am Amanda Avery. I am the Director of Admissions and Financial Aid at Royce-Moore School. Thank you for joining us today, especially from across time zones. For some of you, it's very late in the evening, and for some of you, it's even earlier than it is in Chicago. So we do appreciate you taking the time to join us and to learn a little bit more about the school. Our goal is to provide you with just some program updates, some information you may already know, or answer questions that you may have about our programs. Our mission, our purpose at Royce-Moore is to inspire and nurture excellence and to prepare students for success in not only higher education, but in the world that they will be led into after graduation. So what that means for our students is that they are learning to be self-advocates, they are learning to become whole, well-rounded people, so that when they graduate from Royce-Moore, they feel confident to head into the world and to make a difference in their community. They are thought leaders and they are important members of the communities that they lead into after graduation. Just some quick facts. I'll let our team here introduce themselves in just a moment. We were founded in 1915, so our school is 105 years old, and we've been supporting students since 1915. We are small by design, so our student body currently is 230 students, and that's again a purposeful, small is our strength practice for us. We want to make sure that students are supported fully by their teachers. We want to ensure that they make the connections that are important between their peers and themselves, as well as the connections between their teachers. So teachers know students well at Royce-Moore and are able to fully support them in our small program. Average class sizes are small, and of course the student to teacher ratio is small. We also have, of our international student population, currently 17 out of 70 of our upper schoolers are international students, and that does vary a little bit from year to year. So we are led by our head of school, Adrian Finley Odell. And of course, I am the Director of Admissions and Financial Aid. So I am the key person to support agents and students and their families when they're first looking at the school, of course. And then, as you know, I'm in touch with you even after students enroll. I try to make that a personalized process. Also with us today are Stephanie Rivera, the head of our upper school, and Dr. John Trowbridge, who is our international family liaison. And he also teaches world languages at Royce-Moore. Stephanie and John, if you'd like to just introduce yourselves briefly.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Looks like it's going to be a nice sunny day. I'm the head of the upper school, Stephanie Rivera. Been at Royce-Moore 7 years. It's like a second home to me.
Good morning, everyone, and good evening to those of you in China. My name is John Trowbridge. I'm the International Family Liaison at Royce-Moore. I'm in my third year this year. I'm here to really support our international student population with anything they might need. Talking with their teachers. Of course, this year that looks a little bit different than other years with the COVID pandemic, but I'm here really to support students with, meeting with their host families, working with their agents, transmitting grade reports and other notices to parents via WeChat, and really just kind of liaising between our international student community and all of the constituents that provide them support for a successful and happy time here at Royce-Moore. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie and John. We also have two of our current international students with us, Robin and Owen. Would you each like to introduce yourselves briefly, maybe the year you're in here at Royce-Moore?
Hi everyone, I'm Robin. I'm a junior at Royce-Moore. I've been going to Royce-Moore since last year, and yeah, that's it.
Hey, I am Owen, and I am currently a sophomore. I just I just went to Royce-Moore last year, and I will graduate from Royce-Moore 2 years later. Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you both. And everyone will have an opportunity to hear a little bit more from both Robin and Owen in just a little while. Community, scholarship, integrity, respect, and compassion are our core values at Royce-Moore. They are essentially woven into the fabric of our programs, of our school culture. We are a very tight-knit community, whether a student is joining us for the first time, later in high school, or if they come to us as a pre-K student, they very quickly become part of the Royce-Moore community. And so again, in our small size, students and faculty really do develop personal relationships with each other. And that's very important to us. When students feel confident, they feel that they're known, they're able to be successful and to feel like they are getting the most out of their educational experience, both in the social emotional side and the academic side. I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie Rivera again, who again is the head of our upper school. She's going to talk a little bit more about our program specifically.
Great. Can you advance to the next slide? Amanda, would you? Oh, there we go. Sorry. Great. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about our upper school. Here are some things that we do kind of over the course of your 4 years, of the 4 years in high school. We have a very personalized course planning system. So new students meet with me. I sit down with all new students and families to go over course planning for their first year, many of which is ninth grade, sometimes 10th, 11th, sometimes even 12th grade. And then after that, students work with their advisor to really craft their experience over the course of the 4 years. So there's an arc. So you're looking not just at ninth grade, but 10th, 11th, 12th as well, to really get a feel for what your upper school experience will look like academically over the course of those 4 years. The same is true of college counseling. We have a really, really personalized, wonderful college counseling program. To give you an idea, you know, at ETHS, our local high school here, you know, a college counselor might have hundreds and hundreds of students on their caseload. And this year, our college counselor has 25 seniors. So there's a difference, right? The college counselor really, really knows the kids really well, not just junior and senior year, but starting in ninth grade. And what that means is that he can really craft a list of colleges that's very personalized, best fit for each student, and also write letters of recommendation that are super personalized to each student. And our JST also follows the course of these 4 years. JST stands for January Short Term. This is the time in the year right after the winter break where for 3 weeks we don't have classes, don't have traditional classes, but students get to explore an area of passion, an area of interest. And if students really look at, again, over the course of 4 years, the arc of their January short-term experience, they can really craft something pretty incredible. So they have 3 weeks to do a deep dive into an area that they are really excited about exploring beyond their regular academic year. The independent studies is another way in which you can really personalize and craft your experience. Independent studies are studies designed by students that they follow independently. They do have an instructor who is kind of just their guide along the way, you know, to help them out with any questions they might have. But independent studies are really classes like any other classes, just student designed. So that's another opportunity to really craft kind of your own experience. We can move to the next slide. Great. So we are all about self-advocacy and student voice, which I know especially for high school students is really, really important. As I mentioned, we have those independent studies. We also have homeroom, which is really an informal meeting of the entire upper school, where students and teachers, but mostly students, make announcements about anything really. So for example, our music club just put out their February music concert, and you know, maybe Owen would announce that in homeroom. He would say, "Hey, check out our music concert. It came to you in email." And so that's where students really get to share their voice and their activities. Same is true of clubs. If you have an idea for a club, you want to start a crocheting club, you can do so. All you need is a faculty sponsor. Students have started many of their own clubs. This year alone, we've got diversity club, we've got politics club, we've got debate club. And these were all started by students who pretty much just came into my office and said, hey, we'd like to do this club. And I said, okay. So it's a really great opportunity for students to really, again, explore something they're interested in. And because we're so small, there's not a lot of red tape to starting your own club. Probably most important, though, are these student-teacher relationships that Amanda talked about earlier. Because of our small size, we really form these really lasting and really important relationships. Our teachers know the students know the teachers. And that's, I think, really the cornerstone of the upper school experience. And of course, looking as the student as a learner, and teachers too, we're all lifelong learners. And that's a value that we really instill in our students. Next slide, please. Oh, great. Thank you. Advisory. So advisory program is another wonderful relationship that students build with their teachers. Their advisor is really their go-to person on campus. They get to choose their advisor. That person is there for academic support and, of course, supporting the student as a learner. And we also practice mindfulness in advisory, which helps with social emotional learning and growth. It's really kind of a form of breathing. It's very simple. I'm putting it way more simply, but it's really a form of breathing that helps students center themselves and their minds and give their brains a break. So advisory is really, it's kind of twofold. It's both social emotional support and academic support. That's pretty much how our advisory runs. Curriculum, great, the 4 C's. So communication, collaboration. Now I'm gonna miss what they are. Give me 1 second. Communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. So these are skills that we really focus on in our curriculum because they are very, very critical to success in this crazy world that we live in. So teachers are really looking to instill those skills within their content. So communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. Something else that we do across the 4 years that is unique to Roycemore is writing a research paper every year. So even 9th graders write a research paper. And I've heard college professors say that they get even juniors in college who have never written a research paper before. But our students, Roycemore students, are super ready. So when they go off to college, they've written at least 3 research papers, if not more. And so they know how to do it, which is actually a huge advantage. We also work in our lab sciences are a really great opportunity for students to collaborate and solve a problem together, right? So all our sciences are lab sciences, and students participate in labs in those sciences, which are a really great opportunity for them to learn those skills as well. We have a lot of new courses that we're looking at. So coming up this year, we have computer science, video game design, diversity, equity, and inclusion, a study of the formation of American society. And we're exploring some other new courses as well: cooking, current events, culture in Chicago, architecture, CSI, interviewing and resume writing, data science, and interdisciplinary courses with arts and history.
Great, thank you, Stephanie. I didn't know about some of those courses. That's really exciting to hear.
It is
some of the things
exciting.
that we're going to be offering. Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on quickly as we move on that we've this year been committed to providing students with different modes of learning due to the pandemic. So last spring when the pandemic began, obviously it was an unprecedented event for all of us. And we designed a plan moving forward into this 2020-2021 school year to make sure that students would be supported, whether they could not get to us and needed to stay home, whether they were coming from China or Germany or another country, or if they were able to be with us on campus. So students have had opportunities this year to be either fully remote learning with us and or on campus with us. And there's just some photos of our both remote and on-campus modes of learning this year. We are very excited and looking forward to, with our health and safety plan in place and moving forward into the next school year and having students back on campus with us full time. So Stephanie touched a little bit on the January short-term project, but we wanted to give you the opportunity to hear from our students who are with us today, Robin and Owen. So if you could each take a turn, I'll let Robin, as the junior, Owen is a sophomore with us, start us off with his JST experiences. And you can talk about this year's project, and also previous projects. And just to remind everybody, January short term is a 3-week independent or small group study that students in the upper school take part in every year between the 2 semesters. Classes are suspended during that time and they take part in a project. Go ahead, Robin.
Yeah, so JST. So this year, what we did is called Wearable Electronics. So basically we are studying, well, you can choose multiple subjects, but the one I chose is called Wearable Electronics. So we basically explore 2 types of wearable electronics. The first one is called sweat patches. It's made by Gatorade, and it's used to measure how much sweat you sweated during a workout. And you can also measure the salt level, the sodium level inside your sweat. And we can use that for athletes to design specialized energy drink for them. And so it's basically like a little patch. It's made of flexible plastic. You stick it onto your arm and it just measures your sweat. It doesn't require any batteries, and then you can just use an app. Well, we didn't have an app because the app wasn't out yet. It was kind of like a demo. So we just basically plug into a professional software called ImageJ, which is what they use to analyze images. And then we use that to find out how salty our sweat is. And fun fact, our sweat is actually more saltier than potato chips. Now, the second thing we did is called a mechanoacoustic sensor. So this is like a little thing. It's like a little box that can measure the vibrations. You put it over here, and then you measure the vibration of your body. So you can use that to measure your heart rate, your coughing rate, when you're jumping, when you're talking, when you are sneezing. And they use that for COVID patients to study how they recover from a COVID. And we had the opportunity to borrow that device from the Northwestern University and then to play with it. Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing. And Owen, if you want to share about your experiences.
Yeah. I would like to share about my experience in JST, especially in my first year, because in my second year, I participated in the same project as Robin. So in my first year, I participated in a group project called Makerspace. In the Makerspace, we learned about a programming language called Arduino. Then every individual student started to build their own projects. I chose to build a LED jacket and a rainbow lamps. Instead, I put LED lamps in my jacket, and I can change the pattern so it can shine in different times, and it can like in different colors. That's very like colorful and very beautiful sometimes. And the rainbow lamps is that I can change the lamps and make them shine in the different color, and I can also change the pattern so they can like do some cool show of lights. And so in the project, I learned a lot of stuff. For instance, and I learned how to use soldering guns, how to program in Arduino, and read and follow instruction online. And most important, I also learned about design thinking because I designed my lamps, rainbow lamps from scratch. I didn't find the instruction online because I cannot find any instruction. So I write my own codes and create how I also think about how to like make a lamp and also how to hide uh, all the like electronic devices and to make the lamps look prettier. That's all very valuable to my understanding of designing. So I really learned a lot from JST program. Thank you.
Very cool. Thank you so much to both of you for sharing. And thank you both for being here today. Well, as Stephanie touched on before, we have a 100% college acceptance rate, a very personalized college planning process. Mr. Mauricio Robert is our Director of College Counseling. He works extremely closely with our students from the time they enter our upper school to begin discussing the options for college or university. Our goal is for students to go to the college or university that is, of course, their choice, but that it also meets their needs in every way. So location is important, the programs that are offered, the type of school. We have some students go to large state universities and some go to smaller liberal arts schools, but it's just about each student having that personal college experience, just as they have when they're coming into the program or throughout the program, having a personal planning process during their time at the school so that they are most successful. So we just shared some of the statistics here and two of our recent graduates, their success stories. Damon is now attending University of Washington in Seattle and Suliat, University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. And here's just a quote from an alum. I attended Royce-Moore, then went to Stanford University, followed by University of Chicago Medical School. I finished my surgery residency at Northwestern University. Royce-Moore gave me the intellectual tools and personal resilience to succeed by providing individual attention and outstanding teachers. It remains a remarkable school. And our connection with our alums is very important to us. So we do stay in touch with them. They come back, they join us for different events frequently. We want to make sure that we're still in touch with them and that they have a strong connection. There's an alumni association as part of our school, and many of our alums are members of that. We want to move on now to student life. We offer, as Stephanie mentioned before, clubs and many activities. Extracurriculars are equally as important to us as the academic program at Royce-Moore. And again, I want to give both Robin and Owen, maybe Owen can go first this time, and then Robin, an opportunity to share about their extracurricular activities. They've both had leadership roles in some of the programs that have been started at Royce-Moore. As we said before, we're a small program, and if a student has an interest in a certain area, they're able to start an activity, a club, based on that interest.
Okay, so I will mainly share about my extracurricular activities. And the extracurricular activities are very different for me in my 2 years since the pandemic. Because of the pandemic, I have to go back to China this year. And since I'm on campus in my first year, I got engaged to a lot of sport teams. I joined in cross country and basketball teams. I also took part in musical. And there are a lot of different opportunities and chances for students to really enrich their life. So I really enjoyed my extracurricular activities in my first year. And in my second year, due to the fact I am in China, I get involved in a lot of local activities. For example, I have done volunteer job in hospitals, volunteer stations, and social worker stations, and sometimes even a one-on-one teaching program to teach some kids. By the way, I also run a music club and a club class video performance from Royce-Moore community, and we edit them and finally send them to all our subscribers in the middle of each month. And even though the second year is online, I still have lots of opportunities and some unique, wonderful experience of extracurricular camps. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Thanks, Owen.
Yeah, so one nice thing at Roycemore is that you can basically, like, if you want to join a club, if you want to do something, you can just do it. There's no limits on that. Like, I personally really likes debating. That's why I started a debate club at Roycemore. And that's how it is in Roycemore. Like, you can literally just go to Mrs. Rivera's office and then tell her that you want to start a club. And then if you can't get the people, you can start it. So we have also have a D&D club, which stands for Dungeons and Dragons. It's a tabletop role-playing club, and I'm also in that. And I'm also in our school's literary magazine, which is a magazine that shows all of our students' work. Like, it could be poetry, could be videos, music, or whatever. It's a digital magazine, and I'm the designer for that magazine. And I'm also in our school's yearbook, and we also have a student government. So one thing that is very nice about student government is that it doesn't have to be a representative to join. Like, anyone can just join if you're interested in that, and that's what I did. So yeah, like in Roycemore, you really get to pursue what you want to do, and it's just really simple. You just got to go do it.
Thank you so much, Robin. Thank you both, Robin and Owen. We really appreciate your insights. I'm going to turn things over to Dr. John Trowbridge, who again is our International Family Liaison here with us today. He's going to talk a little bit about some of the community events and some of the things that we perhaps couldn't do this year because of the pandemic, but are normal celebrations for us at Roycemore.
Good morning and good evening again. I'm just here to talk a little bit about our school-wide events. So, here we have a picture of some students working on a blanket that is part of our, it's for charity, and it's part of our annual wassail, which of course this year was modified because of the pandemic. But in years past, right before the winter break, we have a festive occasion where the entire school, every single grade level, all the teachers comes together in our multi-purpose room, the MPR, and they sing festive holiday songs, and they contribute to preparing these blankets for charity. One of our teachers is in charge of. Also, every January or February, usually early February, right after our January short term, we come back and we have a school-wide celebration of the Lunar New Year, which is also known as a Spring Festival. So again, this is school-wide. There are activities and events for students of all ages. So the international students in our upper school help me to coordinate the activity for the entire population. So they start with a slideshow kind of explaining some of the origins, customs, and traditions that surround the celebration of this annual festival. Students in our younger grade might color an image of their birth animal. You might know there are 12, zodiac animals in the Chinese tradition. And so, they'll go to a table where there's, everybody else. So that birth year can be coloring those things. And then older students might try their hand at Chinese calligraphy. Some of our students from China teach, how to do Chinese writing with a brush, which is a lot easier than it looks, but it's very difficult to write beautiful Chinese characters that way. Our younger students then might partake of a story time that's coordinated by our librarian in the library, while the older students might practice learning the Chinese shuttlecock, which is called jianzi, and it's kind of like a hacky sack, but the hacky sack has feathers. So it's really an opportunity for everybody in our school to learn about a different culture. So those are just two of our annual events that are school-wide, where all of the students and faculty participate. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, our location. We have a really wonderful location. The campus of Roycemore School is located in a beautiful northern suburb of Chicago called Evanston. It's just, a few blocks away from Northwestern University. And it's a very easy train ride downtown. There's a couple different options. There's the Metro train station, and then there's also the Purple Line on the Chicago L. It's very easy to get around and enjoy the benefits that the city of Chicago has to offer. Large Midwestern city with lots of great opportunities for cultural interchange, great restaurants, and it's a very safe environment and very safe to walk around. Evanston too, has a lot to offer because it is a university town. There's a lot of international students and a vibrant kind of university community in Evanston. So there's lots of wonderful opportunities just walking distance from our campus. So and then just a little bit more about Chicago. These are some of the attractions that are available in Chicago. We have the Bean, and we have nice view of the city, and it's on the lake. And in the summertime, you can swim in Lake Michigan, and it's a very easy journey to get down to all this vibrant activity while still being kind of nestled in a beautiful northern suburb.
Great, thank you, Jen, for sharing that. I just wanted to touch on some admissions info. So we are now in our rolling application phase, which just means we've passed our priority application deadline for the 21-22 school year, but applications are still being considered in most grade levels. And in the upper school, it is that we have actually a little bit more space available in those grade levels, looking for 9th and 10th graders who may be international students who are interested in applying. We welcome them to consider moving forward with the process. I've included the link here to our application page, which is of course also at roycemoreschool.org under the admissions section. Students who are fully applied, have submitted all of their documentation, will be invited for virtual shadow day visits. And so they'll have an opportunity to visit in some of the classes that they might expect to be enrolled in next year to get a sense of the program and to meet some of the students and teachers. Of course, you can reach out to me. I've included my email here. I am the main contact for our new families. So if you have questions, if there's families who are interested, please reach out to me. We do have a virtual tour page that is fairly new. We've actually created this page earlier this year in response to the pandemic because we can't have as many visitors on campus. So feel free to share the virtual tour page with interested families. Take a look at it yourself. There's a virtual tour of our campus, but also some parent testimonials on the page and some other videos from myself and members of the administrative team, including our head of school. And as we mentioned, this year we've offered both remote and on-campus options to students, and that's with the help of our health and safety plan. We devised this plan in response to the pandemic, and it has worked beautifully for us this year. And there's more details about that plan through the link that's provided here. We wanted to open it up to questions. If anyone has a question, of course, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you're welcome to type that in the chat. Myself, John, Stephanie are here to answer questions for you. And of course, Owen and Robin, as students from a student perspective, may be able to answer some questions as well.
Amanda, I do have one question.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about your relationship or partnership with Northwestern?
Sure. So we have a strong partnership with Northwestern University. We are very close to Northwestern's campus as well, of course, in Evanston. Students in the upper school who have exhausted the prerequisite work in any subject can apply to take courses at Northwestern University for college credit. So that is a dual enrollment program that we are offering to students in the upper school. Each year, a small percentage of our high schoolers do take advantage of that. There's different course options available year to year. Current teachers can recommend students to take those courses. So it's a nice opportunity to be connected to the university in that way and have students given those opportunities. Of course, this year with everything being remote at the university, students may be taking part in those courses, but it's in a remote platform this year as opposed to the normal setup, which would actually have them traveling to Northwestern and actually being in the lecture halls there and being able to use more of the resources of the university in person. Great question. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, Amanda.
Yes.
So due to the pandemic, so what's the school plan for the next school year?
Yeah, great question. So the plan is for us to be back on campus in the fall fully in person. In extreme circumstances, we will try to work with students if for some reason they are unable to get to us in person. We understand that some of the visa restrictions have impacted our students, whether they're new students or would be returning students to us. So on kind of an extreme basis, we will work with students. We really are trying to encourage students to come to us if they can. If it may be, and from what I'm hearing from families, some of the cases are that there's a delay in the visa designations, so they may be able to get to us, but maybe not immediately when the school year begins. So again, we will be, kind of on a case-by-case basis for different families, depending on the situation, and in extreme circumstances, trying to work with those students, but really trying to encourage students to get to us. I don't know if John or Stephanie want to add anything to that.
No, I think you covered it.
Yeah, I agree with Stephanie. I think you've covered it.
But feel free to reach out to me if you have families that are asking about, those concerns. They want to apply, but there may be some of those visa restrictions that are impacting them. Because I'm happy to be in touch with you, of course. But if there are specific questions they have, I'm happy to be a resource.
Yeah, sure. Some of the students don't want to take the remote classes in China. Yeah. We consider about this, and it out of control right now, so it all depends.
I know it's such a difficult time for everybody, and we know that the travel restrictions have impacted many of our current students and our new students who were unable to get to us this year. We're very hopeful that some of the restrictions will be lifted and that students will be able to get to us. We are prepared to be fully on campus next school year. So that is the plan. And again, in extreme circumstances, we will try to work with families so that they're able to have their students attend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Great question.
I could ask another question.
Sure, Larry, thanks.
A little bit about the living arrangements and the host families and how all of that works. I know you provide a great deal of support for those families and the students there.
Yes, well, we value the partnerships with our agents, all of you who are on the call today. And so, yes, we work closely with our agent partners to identify homestays for students who are, of course, living here from overseas to make sure that it is a good fit for them. Again, we value the support of our agency partners in the, keeping the communication open. The lines of the communication are so important to make sure that we're in touch about any concerns or changes that are needed, updates. John actually is our main support for our international students and agents and in the homestay. He does some homestay visits each year. He might want to talk a little bit about that. Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, typically, in a normal year when we have many students, visit, on campus, I will make an appointment to visit each of the host families in their homes and just to kind of, make sure it's a good fit and kind of, find out a little bit from the families the extent they want to be involved in terms of receiving school communications and just kind of, get a visual on the bedroom where the student is staying and just kind of, make that point of connection. Parents also fill out some local legal guardian paperwork with the school. I know they usually fill out similar paperwork as well with the agencies, but just another layer of, just so that the school has that kind of connection as well. This year, of course, I think I conducted only one home visit, and that was done like virtual, with walking around with the laptop showing the areas, which is less than ideal, but that's what the situation required. Of course, hopefully next year we have our international students locally residing with host families, and then the regular practice of ordinary face-to-face visits, perhaps even with a mask and so on, can be resumed.
Thank you, John. Thanks for that question, Larry. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about safety. As John mentioned before, we are in a very safe, walkable area in central Evanston, just north of Chicago. So we're just 2 blocks from the Purple Line train and the Metra. There are plenty of restaurants and shopping and our post office, and it's a very walkable, safe area here. The school environment itself, we have some security procedures in place. Anyone who enters the building goes through a small background check. They have anyone who's in the building gets a badge after they've been searched in our system. So we ensure that people are on campus who are supposed to be on campus and no one else. And there's a buzzer system for visitors to the campus. So currently right now, we don't have as many people visiting the campus because of the pandemic, but under normal circumstances, we're much more open to visitors. So the building itself is secure. All entrances are locked throughout the day. And of course, anyone who does enter goes through a mini background check when they do enter the building. There's also a check-in, check-out system for students. Our juniors and seniors and some sophomores have off-campus privileges, which means that during the school day, they may have a free block, a free period of time where they can go off campus, take a break, take a walk, go get some food, and come back. And there's a check-in, check-out procedure for that. Currently with the pandemic, we also have our health and safety plan in place where students and faculty take part in they complete a health attestation daily. This is actually on an app. It's called School Wellness Screener. You can check it out if you'd like. One of our high schoolers, Effie Zimmerman, actually developed this app with one of our alumni, Mark Ryland. So we've actually been using this app. He's sold it to 40 some other schools around the US. So it's been very successful, but it's basically a daily health attestation that everyone completes. So that also keeps us safe in the sense of the health of our students and faculty. You do that every day you come onto campus. And if you've left campus for a long period, you must do that when you come back in addition to a temperature screening. So we'll plan to continue that, I believe so, in the fall as well, with the pandemic still, unfortunately, surging on. We do have a couple more minutes. I'm happy to stay on if there's any other questions, but you are welcome to head on with your day. Again, thank you so much for joining us at this either very late or very early hour, depending on where you are. We thank you again for taking some time with us today.
Yes, many thanks.
Thank you very much.